Hey guys, welcome back to another Tech Tip Tuesday. Today we are talking about turbos and how they relate in terms of service, oil seals, oil leaks, and just general maintenance as a whole. Obviously, a lot of us are kind of from the mindset of if it's not broke, don't fix it. But the varying degrees of broke are kind of like what we're after today and what we're talking about. On an engine, if you had a piston with a hole in it, or if you're a missing piece of the piston and it was causing the rings to not seat, you for sure would take that engine out, likely, and you would fix it because it's causing you problems. You have smoke, you have oil, it's ruining wideband sensors. In the same respect, a turbo is going to be the same way, and lucky for us, the turbos are actually easier to visualize. You don't have to pull the heads off. Oftentimes you can pull an oil or an air filter off or a downpipe off and inspect the wheels. Why this is important is because a turbo, again, has an oil seal. This is something that's spinning 40, 50, 60, 80, 100,000 RPMs. Small issues can cause big issues in terms of balance and seals. If you've seen some of my other videos, I talk about how the oil seal on a turbo, depending on what brand it is often just like a gapless piston ring. There's different bearing cartridges. You know, you have your ceramic ball bearing, you have your ball bearing, you have journal bearing. But the one thing they share in common is a small imperfection in a wheel can cause a big imperfection in terms of balance. And when a wheel starts to get imbalanced, it's going to improperly wear that oil seal out and cause oil leaks. Oil leaks can be bad for a variety of reasons. You're going to kill O2 sensors. If it leaks on the cold side, you're going to be pumping oil particulate into your engine, which causes detonation and loss of horsepower. In general, you can lose turbo performance, blower performance. Now, I know we've all had pulled turbos off or blowers off of things that have just destroyed wheels, and you're like, how did that thing still make power? There's likely some performance to be gained one direction or another. Why this became relevant to me is at one point with my Gen 5 LT Nova, I actually had parts of the combustion chamber start to come apart. The metal had started to fatigue between the intake and exhaust valve, and I started seeing like oil smoke and stuff. I'm like, man, like I know the engine's not hurt, it runs great. And then the next night I pulled off the cold side and I noticed a bunch of oil in the cold side, which is bad. Then I pulled the turbo off and I noticed that the turbine wheel was just destroyed. It was mangled up. Obviously that's going to cause problems in spooling and power overall. But more importantly, it was putting oil out the intake and the exhaust, which was then ruining O2 sensors, was then putting oil in the intake. And I'm like, what caused this? I never did find the cause right away, but I saw that there were pieces missing out of the blades. I should have taken the heads off right then and there to inspect, but I'm like, this motor's running good. At that point, I sent the turbos in. Almost all manufacturers will repair blades, put new blades on for a nominal cost. It's not the whole cost of new turbos. But then at that point, you have clean intake pipe, your O2 sensor is good, the turbos spool up faster typically, and just like an engine, it's just crazy to me that myself and everybody else would just keep running those turbos, and we've all done it. But if you're looking for maximum performance and you're not looking to cause more further damage to your engine, it's something to consider. So in this particular turbo, and I don't want this to become a brand thing, guys, look at the oil particulate that's coming around in here. These wheels are absolutely dinged up, chipped up. They've taken some abuse, and as a result, you're starting to see oil start to come around here. Oil in the intake, I cannot stress enough, is just the worst thing for an engine and tunings. Probably race week, stick week, drag week is the worst on turbos. I'm not good at putting air filters on. A lot of times I do have a regiment to do it, but I've had times when I left it off. On return roads and burnout boxes, depending where your turbos are placed, they're just going to take in little pieces and particles, especially if they're in your wheel well area. Tires are going to throw up rocks and pebbles. As you can see in this turbo, there's little pieces out of the blade. Now this is probably one of the smaller imperfections, but eventually there's a potential it could cause problems. As that wheel's out of balance and spinning 60,000 RPMs, it's going to start ruining those oil gapless ring seals, and then you're going to start seeing a lot of leaks. On the turbine side, it's a really good indicator of what's going on in your engine. There should be nothing absolutely bad in your turbine side, but if you have a cylinder head having issues like I had, you're going to find it, which then tells you can go fix that. Which in turn I picked up like 5 miles an hour when I fixed that issue on the same tune-up, so that can be a benefit. The other thing is in your turbo piping, if you didn't back purge the welding, they can really just pull a bunch of debris and chunks off of the inside of the weld if it's not protected and it has that sugaring scale type of stuff. And then also just the condition of your hot side piping. Are there pieces coming out that you never saw when you were building it, whatever. All in all though, the performance is there. The oil leak issues are gonna stem from that. We all have seen a lot of our friends have leaking, smoking turbos. Typically, it's an indication of a bigger problem, and it's a good time to get it fixed because there's power there, there's durability there, there's sensor issues that are built into that, there's tune issues built into that as far as safety, and a lot of people look past it, but it's super important. And it really doesn't matter what brand of turbo you have, it's definitely, you know, subject to anything with a blade that's spinning, whether it's a blower or turbo. So check your turbos out. If you have downtime, if you see smoking, if you see oil residue, it's a good time to fix it. And fixing that is going to prevent things becoming a bigger issue because nobody likes to rebuild an engine. Nobody likes to detonate engines. Nobody likes to replace sensors. That's not cheap either. So take a look at it, keep it in mind. If you see stuff, probably a good time to fix it, especially if you have downtime. Not saying the engine can't run or the car can't run pretty decent with it messed up, but there's a good chance it's gonna cause you issues in the long run. Guys, if you love our Tech Tip Tuesdays or if you have ideas, we'd love you to drop a comment down below. That's how we get ideas for the next one. This one actually came from myself, but most of them come from comments that you guys give us and kind of inspires us to take a few minutes to stop what we're doing in a day and spread the word so that you guys can have more fun, race better, save money, and just enjoy racing overall as a whole. Thanks for tuning in to this Tech Tip Tuesday. We will see you guys next time.